We're running a few minutes ahead of schedule. Due up next on the call is Karl Morgan from Mississippi Valley State. Is Coach Morgan, you happen to be on the call?
I'm on the call, yes.
There he is. All right. Well, Coach, we'll go ahead and come right to you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Mississippi Valley had a good game down there. Jackson State came up just a little short in double overtime. Coach, talk about that game and your upcoming one. It doesn't get any easier as you take on West Division leading Arkansas Pine Bluff on Saturday.
It was a game where I think we let some opportunities to get away. We had a first and goal on the 9-yard line, didn't get any points out of it in the first half. I think we also had a situation where we were on the, I guess, plus 30 going in, first down, didn't get any points out of that. Then we let them off the goal line and allowed them to drive the ball 90-something yards, 98 yards for a touchdown. So looking back on it, it's just not enough execution at the right times. I think their defense had something to do with our offensive execution. They played well on defense, got after us, couldn't block them all the time. And offensively, they made some plays, and when they needed to make plays, especially on that long drive.
Saturday's game, of course, was a classic defensive battle, as you mentioned, two teams really going after it. Just talk about the job of your defense. They really showed up well on Saturday.
We did okay. Like I said, you know, when you got a team trapped on the 2-yard line, you got to force them to punt, and that was disappointing. And like I said, I thought everybody played hard. I thought, all our guys on both sides of the ball and the special teams played hard. They wanted to win. They expected to win. There was a lot of emotion in the locker room afterwards, and that was positive in the sense that in order to appreciate winning, you gotta hate losing. And I think one of the things I've complained about since I've been here is that I don't think losing affects us enough as a team. And I think that it did affect us Saturday, and I think that's a positive in a backhanded kind of way. We lost the game, but I saw some real emotion, and people were upset, and I think if that happens, then you can appreciate winning and what it takes to win.
All right, floor is open for questions for head coach Karl Morgan from Mississippi Valley State.
Coach Morgan, I see Morrell from the Pine Bluff commercial. Coach, you have one of the top 10 defenses in the nation. What do you think about this matchup against a UAPB offense that's just really clicking right now?
They're doing real well. They are a lot better than what they were last year. We played UAPB, I think it was the last game of the year. And they struggled somewhat offensively, but now they're doing well. The quarterback's doing a good job. They're running the ball. They're throwing the ball. And I think Coach Dooley has really got them going. And we're going to have our hands full, because they're not a one-dimensional team. So a very impressive offense, but without a doubt.
More questions for Coach Morgan.
Karl, this is Travis Downing with the Clarion Ledger. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Coach, if you could, this is a little bit of a different question, but if you could just kind of speak to what it's been like, Ashley Robinson taking over as the AD there, I guess a month into the job, just what it's been like working with him and his vision for the university.
I think he's been very aggressive in trying to go out and get things moving in the right direction as far as raising money. He's talked about wanting to up the scholarship dollar amount. And I think that's a positive, and the thing about scholarship money is that, scholarship money is an annual deal. You can't just go out and raise $300,000 for 1 year. It's a deal where, if you're going to add so many more scholarships, you want to have that money every year. So I think he realizes that, and that's his number one priority. That's what he's told me. And so that's good. I think he's brought a buzz to the office as far as, he's new. People know him from his days as a basketball player. I think he's energized the position because he's new, young, and he hit the floor running. So we had homecoming. We had some people back for homecoming alumni, and he was out passing the hat that night and actually got money. I saw people writing checks. So that's a plus. It just hopefully we can sustain the initial push. But I think his energy is one of the positive things I've seen so far.
Thanks.
All right, we're talking to head coach Karl Morgan from Mississippi Valley State, and the floor is open for more questions.
Coach, this is I.C. Morrell again. I was just thinking because, I asked Coach Coleman, but just given the close proximity of UAPB and Mississippi Valley, do you see this as a rivalry game?
The 3 years I've been here, no, because even though it's like 2 hours away, there hasn't been a whole bunch of, talk about Pine Bluff or, it hasn't developed into a rivalry from my standpoint, as far as just looking at it from our point of view over here at Valley. If we can win a few games, I think it could become one.
Okay. Thank you.
Coach, I was just looking at the fact that you had one homecoming game against Jackson. They had a big crowd there. Of course, it's always festive. It's tough for the visitor to come in. And it just so happens, but through a fluke of the schedule, you have another homecoming to have to face this week. Talk about that and having to go back-to-back weeks. Your team doesn't really have a lot of time to hang their heads.
So I don't think it's a fluke. I think people schedule it on purpose, and I understand why. You got a team that's won one game in the last 2 years. You got to get them on the schedule for homecoming. The good thing about homecoming at Pine Bluff is a great atmosphere. We went down there 2 years ago for homecoming, and by far the most RVs I've seen in the conference. Music, barbecue and tailgate, a great atmosphere outside the stadium. And look forward to going down there again because I like to walk into a stadium and there's people in the stands. I think that makes the players feel better. It makes the coaches feel better. So we're looking forward to going down for another homecoming game. Like I said, it was great this past weekend to go there and there's bodies in the seats. And so, like I said, Pine Bluff has one of the better homecomings that I've experienced. And we've been on several homecomings in the 3 years I've been. We've been through several of them. So we look forward to it. They've got a good football team. I think the head coach does a good job over there. Coach Coleman does a good. I think he's a good guy. I don't know him that well, but a little bit I know of him. He seems like a quality guy, and they do a good job over there. And we're looking forward to this. It's going to be a big challenge. They are arguably the best team in the conference. They battled Alabama A&M real strongly when they played them, and I think it was a 14-10 score, I believe, something like that. We watched them play when we played Alabama A&M. So good football team and an improved football team.
Speaking of improvements, and you also mentioned about Valley being the traditional homecoming opponent, you think by the accomplishments and the tough play of your Devils this year that might change?
We got to win some games. Everybody. I just came from an athletic department meeting, and good job, coach. Congratulations. I see it as a victory. That ain't no victory, man. That's another loss. That's what it is. And it's good to go double overtime, better than getting beat 55-7 or something like that. It's good to go double overtime, but in the end, it's still a loss. And I think we've got to learn. The main thing, if you take away from the film, we got to execute here at Mississippi Valley. Everybody has to execute, but we got to really execute because when there's a talent differential, and I think there is against most of the teams we play, you've got to do everything correctly, And the more talented you are, the more mistakes you can make because talent will offset some of those mistakes. But we've got to block the right people. We've got to get to the right gap. We can't, we're not that good to do those kind of things, and that's was some of the things that happened last Saturday. And like I said, they got after us on defense. They're number 41. I don't know who he is. I didn't know who he was coming into the game, but I know who he is after the game. We were talking about LeBeau and everything, but this guy, 41, the other end, did a great job of rushing the passer for him. Like I said, we've got to get better, win some games, and then we'll get off the homecoming tour.
And you mentioned too about the pass rush that Jackson State came up with 7 sacks in the ball game, and your offense kind of had a tough time on the road. I mean, not on the road, on the ground, coming up with negative 23 yards. Surely that'll have to improve this week.
Yeah. When you get a sack, your 7 sacks, all those sacks, those yards come off your rushing game.
Right.
And so we've got to do a better job of protecting the quarterback. We've got to do a better job of rushing the football. We got to do a better job of getting after the quarterback. If they got 7 sacks, we need to get 5 sacks, and we didn't. So we've got to do a better job on both ends of the game, of the field. I thought special teams was kind of a wash as far as nobody really had an advantage there. We missed a kick in overtime, which was not good. I think they missed a kick also. So like I said, we've got to get this thing going. We can't. One thing I told the team after the game, everybody's feeling heartbroken and depressed, but we got, this can't be a hangover that cost us a chance at another football game next weekend. So we got to get past this one, and I think we'll put the closing notes on it at 3:00 this afternoon and move on to the next one.
All right, and of course, our team did a pretty good job of taking care of the ball, but it was that one turnover that killed you.
Yeah. We got 3 turnovers and we gave up 1. On the second play of overtime. I think it was the second play. We just got. I think I just got the first down or something. I don't know, but turnovers kill you. Turnovers. That's a true stat in football, basically. You turn the ball over, you have a chance to win, especially turnover in the red zone, and that was in the red zone.
All right. Do we have any other questions for Coach Karl Morgan from Mississippi Valley State? All right, Coach, I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning, spending a few minutes of your time to talk about the Delta Devils. And we wish you luck on your upcoming trip to Arkansas Pine Bluff. 2:30 is the kickoff on Saturday.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
All right, Coach, we'll talk to you next week. All right.